Okay.
Who are we missing?
Let's see.
Tegan? Are we missing Tegan?
Yes,
Okay.
I believe so.
Has anyone else done this before?
No. I haven't.
I'm having issues here getting this set up.
I don't think we're supposed to record it though, because I think all that we're supposed to do is do the discuss it and then collaborate the worksheet as one, right? I don't think we're supposed to record it and like post it.
I'm not
Well,
sure.
I think it said it automatically records it.
And that it posts to someone's YouTube account or something like that.
Well, because I did this morning with a different class, and in order for it to record, you're supposed to. Who did? You go through YouTube. Did you go through YouTube to get this? Yeah. So on the bottom, it should say like, "Go live." Does it say that on yours?
Yeah.
So you'll press that as soon as we start the meeting. You'll press that, and then it will record it, and then when we're finished, you'll just press like stop recording, and then it will. That's, I think, or I guess it already is live. Never mind, you already did that. So then,
It's already live.
oh, awesome. Then we're good.
Okay. Okay.
We're going to try to get a hold of Tegan.
I don't know if I have her number.
I don't think
I think I do. I think I just email her.
Yeah, I don't think she posted her phone number.
Yeah, I think that was the only one that I didn't see a number in. I don't know. Should I try sending her the invite again?
Yeah.
Sure.
Her email is girly21, right? Or something like that.
Yeah, I think so.
That sounds right.
Okay. We'll wait a few minutes. If she doesn't answer, we can just get started.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, who wants to start?
Well, who do we want taking notes for everyone to write up?
Normally, I wouldn't mind, but I'm traveling Friday, Saturday, Sunday, so it would be kind of crazy for me to try to get anything more than I have to do done tomorrow.
Oh, I think
Anyone else?
Sierra's muted.
Sorry, I was totally
Okay.
talking to myself.
Oh, I saw your mouth moving, but I didn't hear words.
So funny. We all did the case study, right? You guys already fill it out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, then, I don't know. Maybe we could, like, I don't mind if we want to do like a Google Docs. I could just post mine on there, and then we could like edit it. If we could add things to it or take things away that we want to. That would just make it easier than writing a whole brand new thing.
That's a good idea.
Works. I like that. I was even thinking about doing that, but perfect.
Yeah.
Could do it.
Well, anyone can do it. I don't care. But maybe I'll just, if you want, I can just start a Google Docs and then invite you guys to it.
Okay.
That sounds great.
Okay. But you guys can start, or anyone can,
Okay.
whoever's leading this can start if they want to.
Jesse, I think you're supposed to be leading. Are you comfortable with that?
Am I what? I'm sorry.
I think you're supposed to be leading us. Are you comfortable with that?
It doesn't matter. I mean, the only reason I was chosen as a leader is because I guess the thread. I guess I was the first one to start it, and so but I don't mind leading. But I mean, it's up to you guys. I mean, like sorry, let us start. Hold on. Like Sierra was saying, we all we have to do is go over the case, and we didn't really have to fill it out. We're actually supposed to fill it out as a group.
Hmm.
But if it's easier for you guys, we could all like email each other the information we have, and I could just collaborate from there and add,
Yeah.
or and then send
Yeah.
it in, because we're only supposed to have one of us send it in, and if you guys
Right. Right.
want, I can be the one to send it in, so I don't mind.
Okay.
Okay. Are you familiar with the Google Docs too then, Jesse?
Yeah, but I'm not able to use mine. Mine is like messed up on my laptop for some reason. I'm not able to use it at all. But
So
I
if
am familiar with it.
so if Sierra sent you a link for a Google Doc, would you be able to add to it? And then she
Yeah,
could
I
send it
can
in?
add to it. If she sends it to me, I can add on to it. But I'm not able to send it through Google Doc myself. But if anybody else can do it, we can just add from there, and just um and let me know. I mean,
Yeah, I can. I'll add my thing. Right now, I'm just adding my answers to Google Docs. But we don't have to. We're not going to turn mine in, but we can take stuff away and add stuff to it.
yeah.
And as we're talking, I can just add the things to it. You guys can look at it as I add things. I don't know, and then I'll just turn it in.
That sounds good.
I like that idea.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Because my notes that I wrote were more like little bullet points because I figured we're going to be talking about it, so I didn't have to come up with
Right. Mine are handwritten.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wrote everything out, which probably did too much work, which I wish I wouldn't have now, but I guess it works. Okay, I'll just add it to you guys so that.
Okay. So who wants to summarize? Who wants to summarize the case of Jeff, or no, excuse me, Brad and Jeanette?
All these windows open and I can't find what I'm looking for.
Sorry, I would. I'm just trying to add you guys.
No, you're fine.
That's all right.
Okay. So what I have on my summary was more of just that they're a young couple that had a kid. Oh, let me open it. A young recently married couple. They got pregnant once and lost a child after birth. They had several more children after that, and their relationship struggled. The children argued and fought, and there wasn't much communication between the family members. They had a set of twins. One of them got sick and passed away while only a toddler. After the passing of the child, the family became closer to one another and no longer fought. That's not 100 words, but that was just my summary.
No, you're fine.
Okay. Yeah, I think when they lost their baby the first time, they didn't communicate very well at all.
Mm-hmm.
So that they already had problems before, and then when they lost the baby, so I kind of put their experience into an ABCX system,
Okay.
so that that kind of helped me break it down.
Mm-hmm.
So the actual event for this event, they actually had two main ones, but so I put the loss of the baby as A for the initial crisis.
I think that kind of sets the. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, no, I was just going to say that's a lot better than what I did. What we did say.
I just say I think that kind of set the tone for the rest of, I mean, they lost that first baby, and they didn't communicate at all for I don't know how many years it was. They said until like 2013 they didn't talk about it. But then they had more children. And then when the next crisis happened, when their other son passed away, it kind of, since they had set that pattern of not communicating, a blessing that they were able to get through that second crisis in the way that they did, I think, because they had already set the pattern of not talking to each other, not communicating about it. So it's kind of neat that they had their children to, they kind of learned from their children. I think it was, the other twin boy had that dream and the sister had that dream, and so they learned from each other. So that was cool.
Yeah, and that, to me, that's kind of part of the C, the cognitions. They were able to turn it around. I hate that they fought so much. That's so sad.
Yeah.
I know, right?
But,
It's like, why are you guys fighting so much?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's hard. It's hard when you lose a child. It's hard. It puts a big hole in your heart, and it's hard to communicate. It's hard to, especially if you're not both verbal. This case is really hard for me because I've actually lost several babies, and so I can relate. So if you want to know anything about like what anything's like, I definitely have the insight on that, unfortunately. But I can tell you that when they lost Jerry, that all that pain and loss from Philip, the first baby, it comes back.
Yeah.
So then it's like you're dealing with losing Philip all over again, and you've lost Jerry, only instead of just as a little infant. I mean, you've had him for those years with you. So I'm glad that that at the end, they were able to pull it together for their ex, their total experience. They were able to be positive. But yeah, I did the math. They didn't talk about it for 53 years.
I guess it is hard when it's your first child, it's harder because, it is your first child, and then for you to like go through all that and then in the end lose the child, it's pretty hard. But, like you said, my mom went through the same thing, she lost a child as well. But thinking back, I don't think she took it as hard because she already had 4 other children. And then, yes, it was a depressing moment for her. She did cry, I did see her get sad. But I think, she knew that things happen for a reason and that the baby was in good hands, because from what we've been taught in the gospel, when a baby doesn't make it here, he's still, with the Lord and with the Heavenly Father and stuff. And so I think that's what comforted her, knowing that the baby was still going to be okay either, regardless, and that one day she was going to be able to meet the baby that she didn't get to meet here on earth.
Yeah.
And
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and so, I know how hard it must be, I don't think I've ever want to go through a situation like that, especially not
Nobody wants to.
especially not when it's just your first child. So I can understand why it was hard for her to try to talk about it, but I guess neither of them wanted to talk about it, So
Well, she actually had a child from a previous marriage named Jennifer, a little girl. So that actually was part of their communication problem. So for Brad, it was the first baby, and he was devastated by that loss, and she was devastated as well. But instead of turning to her husband, she turned to her child and to her own mother for her comfort, and that just severed the communication between her and Brad, which is really unfortunate.
And I put that as one of the relationship considerations, is that between her and Peter, is it Peter or Brad? I think
Brad's the husband. Peter was the friend from next door whose grandmother was in the hospital.
Oh. Well, anyway, so Jeanette and her husband, that relationship is to consider because instead of turning to him, she was turning to her daughter and her mother for something that should have been worked on in the relationship, like in the marriage.
Exactly.
You know what? I think Peter is the husband. In this case, it says Peter and Jeanette were newlyweds in 1960.
Yeah.
Blah blah. Jeanette and Peter were concerned and sad at the prospect of losing their son. think it is Peter.
Is
Okay.
it?
But just so
How did I
we
get
have
that
it
wrong?
all.
We're talking about the same
That's
person.
alright.
We just name them different things. The names are changed anyways.
Oh, that's funny. Well, that's true, but I could have sworn it was Brad. Sorry.
No, it's good.
Oh, no worries. Did you guys get the email from me? The Google Docs.
Let me see.
That name sounds familiar. Do you think it's from the other case we did?
Maybe.
Oh,
Maybe
I
just
think
got
it was
A few weeks
Brad.
ago?
I think it's.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it is.
Okay. That would make sense. That would,
Okay,
That would
yes,
totally
I
make
got the
sense.
Google
Okay.
Doc.
So if you guys got that, maybe I'll just read. We can talk about it, and then I'll read what I wrote, and then we can decide what we want to change about it
Okay.
or leave.
And just go
So just
one question at a time.
Yeah,
Is that
I
what
don't know.
you're
Just so
saying?
we can get
Okay.
it. Turn it into.
like, where's my Google?
Yeah, that's what I was imagining.
Okay, awesome. So what I wrote for summarizing, I said, Peter and Jeanette were a happily married couple. They each had grown up in difficult family situations. Jeanette had a daughter before Peter and got married. Jeanette had a daughter before Peter and her got married, but because he both loved Jeanette and Jennifer so much, he asked if he could adopt her and marry Jeanette. They soon later lost a son just days after his premature birth. This was no longer talked about until many years later. They had 3 or 4 more children following. With twins as their last 2 children, they were ecstatic. However, when Jerry was 6 years old, he came down with a fever. Sorry.
You're fine.
It turned out to be a lot worse than they thought, and he passed away that Sunday. He was on life support, but his spirit was most likely not in his body anymore. Another old lady needed the machines, and they later found out that it was Peter's grandmother. She lived only 1 more month. The family completely changed. There was not fighting anymore. Twin brother and his sister had a dream of their brother Jerry, explaining to them that he had come to their family for that specific purpose.
Yeah.
So what do we want to change anything about that or add anything specifically?
That was. Go ahead.
I think all we need to, the basis of the story is perfect. I think you got all the highlights. I just think we need to put in the things we've learned. Stress and coping, Hill or Coos, ABC, family systems. They could have had family counsel.
Well,
I think we need to put in what we've learned.
That's just briefly summarizing the case. You don't really have to add it on there.
But later on, when it has to list the different things. Yeah.
Yeah.
For some reason, I can't get out of my daughter's email and into my own.
Oh, but do you think that that's okay for just briefly summarizing it? Because later it's
Oh, yeah.
relevant opportunity.
Yeah.
There's nothing
absolutely.
I missed. There's nothing that was missed in that.
I don't think so.
Not really.
I do have
You
a question. It's not pertinent whatsoever, but was it the twin brother or was it the older brother that saw the child in the dream or saw him in the dream?
I don't know. Was it the older brother? I thought it was the twin brother, but that was just me thinking that.
See,
Yeah,
I thought
it was
so
the
too.
twin brother.
Because it said older brother. I know this is not pertinent, but I was just wondering. Because it said, because I also wrote down like the timeline. Hold on, can I see what? I wrote the timeline on here of what happened, of like what year. And it said that he was only 11 when he was giving the eulogy. And I assumed the kid that's doing the eulogy and the kid that saw him in the dream were the same person.
No, because I think that Jerry was 6 when he passed away, wasn't he?
Exactly. So that's why I thought it was the older brother who was born in 63. And that way he'd be 11 and 75. Not that, like I said, it's not important. If you don't want to change it, that's fine.
No, I changed it. No, you're right.
No, I think it's good.
Okay, cool. Well, should we move on? So list any principles or concepts from the course that can be applied in offering help or direction for this family.
Okay.
Do you want to share our
So
thoughts?
we have all of the things we've been learning about. We just have to plug them in.
Yeah, so I had my 2 main ones were family councils and mood logs would both help them express their emotions and process it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's great.
Yeah,
I don't think I wrote that thoughts are so powerful for each individual in the family. Positive thinking is such an important principle that would have helped them. From the very beginning, Jeanette and Peter had it pretty rough. With the help of the Lord and positive thoughts, strength would have been easier to attain at this point. The cognitive behavioral theory is something that could have helped this family. Another thing that could have helped them would have been to openly communicate with each other, or together. Peter and Jeanette did not communicate after the death of their first son, which resulted in bottled emotions. These things would have helped them. But I'll add in the family councils and mood logs too.
Yeah. And that open communication, I don't know if you remember when I write it down. The double bind. Do you remember that? It was like a while ago. But they were giving each other contracting messages. So when she was in the hospital, she thought he was being ridiculous. He thought she was being really insensitive talking about the funeral. So they did that a lot, where they did kind of what's in the mood logs, jumping to conclusions and mind reading. But that the contradicting messages, they were not good communicators, like you said, at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. You guys see what I wrote? I just wrote holding family councils would have helped them communicate better as a family. Another thing that would have helped them would have been to complete mood logs individually and as a family. I just added that to it.
Yeah. And like something else, I think it might be in another one of the questions, but they did kind of have a mini family council when they were discussing whether to keep him on the machine or not. It said that they knelt together in prayer. And where did I write it? Anyway, so yeah, they discussed and came to a consensus all together. So that was something that they did do, but then what I was getting at is that they should continue to do family councils for future problems.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Maybe holding more regular family councils would have helped, would have helped them communicate better.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. So list relevant risks and dangers the family and its members face.
Well, their marriage could have completely disintegrated.
Yeah.
And they're lucky it didn't.
Yeah,
and it could have been their children that held them together, because they really let the stressors ruin that initial relationship that they had when they were first married.
Yeah, and adding on to that, because that was one of the points that I brought up, was the potential of the family falling apart, because all of the verbal and physical fighting that they had and the lack of communication. And I was thinking that would be considered distress because they couldn't progress. It was so much that they couldn't work their way through it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
effectively.
I don't remember where it was, but a discordant home is what that's called.
Mm-hmm.
And don't ask me what chapter that was from. I think it was chapter 2.
So
go ahead. Oh, no, I was going to say, and then in addition to that, another point I brought up was that they were bottling their emotions over time, and that was only going to make it worse because they weren't able to effectively work through them.
53 years is a long time to hold on to something.
Yes, and the fact that they only brought it up because they were asked to talk about it for this case study.
Right.
Yeah.
It's so sad.
Yeah, all those things are, they're a risk, because not just like their relationship with each other as a marriage, but their relationship with their children as well, and their children watching all that, their relationship with each other, each other's siblings, they probably would have broken apart as, at the end, and, everybody would have went their own way. So, it's important to really talk about things that are going on in your life and not bottle all those emotions up.
Well, absolutely. It's the whole communication.
Mm-hmm.
But
Exactly.
part of that is really hard. And I think that's where the cognitive behavioral theory or the DBT, either one, that comes in, because when your heart and your emotions are in distress, it's hard to know where to start. It's hard to know how to compartmentalize that and talk about it. And so that's how I think that would have helped them to just kind of dissect it and just focus on just little itty bits at a time. Stop blaming and just start to deal with some of the emotion. Grief counseling is one of the things I did. And it was so helpful. And I didn't know that I was doing a lot of these things too.
Yeah.
She was just leading me through counseling, and I'm like, oh, she did that. She did that. So,
It's funny looking back.
yeah. So I guess it was all good. But now when I look at it, oh, she learned this in that chapter. Okay.
Funny.
Yeah.
So I wrote, I think you guys probably read through it, but I think that it touched on the things that you mentioned. If it didn't, then we can change it. But some relevant risks and dangers that the family. Wow, my writing is not good. That the family members faced included relationships getting worse and worse, depression, anger, and turning to other things. Due to their lack of communication, their marriage could have been at risk. Their bottled emotions were not something to help their marriage or family. Jeanette found comfort in talking to her mom and daughter instead of her husband. This was definitely a threat to their marriage. The children also fought often. Their relationships were at risk. If they would have continued at this rate, fighting with words and physically, their relationships could have been destroyed.
I think that's
Do you want
perfect.
to put that? Would you put that as B in an ABCX complex for the resources and responses?
Yeah, where are you talking? Sorry.
We're just supposed to plug these things in, and so where would you put, if the crisis is the initial crisis is the loss of the child, then would you put responses and resources in here with the risks? Because I think there's several. I think there's several B's.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Because of just how the questions are laid out for us to do.
Right. So what is it that you want me to?
Just maybe put literally just a capital B next to relevant risks, or
like in the question.
or wherever you think. Yeah, just like like for the first part, briefly summarize the case. We can put a capital A there, and then wherever we think the B's are, we can put a capital B. I mean, he's going to know what we're talking about, obviously.
Okay, I understand what you're talking about.
And does that make sense? So we don't even have to say, oh, this is the crisis, the actual event, but because he'll know, obviously.
Yeah.
He'll know. So, but I thought, but there's several B's to me. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so.
So
Yeah.
Definitely risks and dangers, I think, would be a B. And also opportunities. And then maybe relationship considerations can be the cognitions, the C.
Okay, cool. So should we go over the relevant opportunities presented to this family as a result?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
What if we read what you wrote first and then we can add if there's anything different? Would
Good
that
idea.
be a better way to do it?
Okay, there are many opportunities presented to this family as a result of this crisis. As a result of any crisis, strength and togetherness is an opportunity that can be taken. The family had the opportunity to be strengthened together. They also had the opportunity to learn from the experience and grow as a family. The family had an opportunity to reach out to their family members and mourn with those that mourn and comfort those that stand in need of comfort. These are great opportunities that are presented to this family as a result of their many types of crisis.
That's very good, Sarah.
Anyone have any other things, any other opportunities? I couldn't think of other ones, but I'm sure that there are.
Well, just exactly what you said, the turning towards each other, literally, instead of apart. It's so huge.
I had a few ideas, and if they're completely off, you don't have to put them in there. So practicing a family council, that we talked about it in another point, so I didn't know. I really like family council, so I realized that I put it in a lot of the bullet points.
It's
so
important.
if I'm repeating myself, I apologize. Talking like the family council on the decision to pull the plug. And then another opportunity was when Jeanette, when she realized that her and Peter weren't on the same page, she had the opportunity to see the situation from his perspective.
Mm-hmm.
At the very first one, the first death, in the paragraph it said, she later said, it took me a while to realize he didn't really know. No one had told him. And then she was able to change a little bit.
I think that's great.
And then what do you think, because we're BYU Idaho, so I don't know how churchy we can get into things, but like
As much as you want.
an opportunity, I thought it was a good opportunity for them to grow spiritually after experiencing the dream of their brother,
Oh,
to
absolutely.
strengthen their family and to like their testimony of eternal families, knowing that their brother was still alive. And it even said that they were surprised that he was an adult and not a child. And so, I don't know, in my mind, if I experienced that would help me understand the afterlife a little bit better.
Oh, absolutely. It brought them peace. It brought them understanding, and ultimately became the glue to put the family back together.
Yeah.
You know?
So I added to
So no.
Another opportunity would have been to hold regular family councils and have better communication together. Within the marriage, Jeanette had the opportunity to see the situation in her husband's perspective. They also had the opportunity to grow spiritually after the dreams they had of their brother and the situation in general.
I like
Does that
it. Yeah.
summarize what you said?
Yep. Perfect.
Also, did our other,
Yeah.
She's muted. Tegan, are you there?
Tegan, you're muted, so we can't
Who's
see or
muted?
hear you.
oh well,
Um,
she'll
Okay.
come when she comes.
Yes.
Right.
Okay. When she's on here, I'll add her to this, just so that I
Okay.
don't, she doesn't want. I don't know. I'll add her when she's ready.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind. She's having problems with her microphone.
Oh, I hate that. That was me last year.
Okay, then let me shoot. Hey, Tegan, will you write down your email address so that I can add you to our Google Doc? I'll just wait for that and then I'll, oh, never mind. Got it. Cool. We're just going over the questions, but we're just going to edit what I wrote for the worksheet. And so this way you'll be able to see it.
Yeah, so we have a Google Doc, and Sierra posted what she wrote. So we're reading what she came up with, adding our points to it, and then she's editing it, and she'll submit our final answer. So if you have anything in addition, you can just type it, and we can figure it out and put it on there.
That's the one bad thing about using my tablet. I don't have the chat option on this.
Oh, really? Well, we'll read what she writes then so that you can.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, my laptop was giving me a big echo, so I heard myself. It was terrible.
Well, she just said she's having problems with her mic and that she'll just write. She'll just type it out.
Thank you.
So now we're on to important relationship considerations, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I wrote, there were many different relationships to consider. The first relationship would be between Jeanette and Peter. They had trials from the very beginning of their marriage. Their relationship needed to be considered. They were the rock of the family. Another relationship to be considered would be each of the children to the mother and each of the children to the father, and then each of the children to the mother and father as parents together. Another relationship to be considered would be the relationships of each children to each other. If these are critical relationships, they probably could relate to each other more than anyone else.
Go
What I meant by
ahead.
Sorry, what I meant by I meant like the children could probably relate to each other as siblings more than anyone else. Is what I meant.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Another relationship would be Peter to his grandmother.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one.
Because they could have had 2 deaths just right then
Mm-hmm.
if they hadn't decided to take their son off the life support. That would have added a lot of guilt. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They already lost their son to whatever circumstances he was ill. But if grandma died because they held on to him a little longer than was needful, I think that would have given them a lot of guilt, and then they would have had that to deal with.
Yeah.
And that would have been even harder, I think.
Yeah, having 2 family funerals at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking we have the living siblings, scratch that. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, no. Like Jeff and Jerry, I think because they're twins and one of the siblings died, I guess it wouldn't necessarily be a relationship anymore, I guess. But after the death of Jerry, we don't hear anything about Jeff anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And so in my mind, I was worried about him because you don't know what he's going through, because twins have a special relationship.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And then,
Well, and then
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to change and do another relationship of Philip and Jerry while they're in the spirit world. Again, I'm thinking like super churchy.
Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Of how they were probably helping the family through the situation. And so having both two children in the spirit world was blessing their family.
Oh, absolutely. Yep, that's exactly what I was going to say.
Okay.
Sorry.
Nope, you're good.
Oh, we so appreciate you doing the typing. That no stars necessary.
Oh, I just added another relationship that is important to consider would be between Peter and his grandmother. A relationship that, also, I don't know how to word this. Another relationship would be between Jerry and Jeff. Philip and Jerry in the spirit world is another relationship that was extremely important. I'm sure that they were able to bless their family on earth. Is that okay?
Yeah.
It's not very eloquent, but we listed all of the relationships.
You can fiddle with it before you tune it in. It's good.
Yeah, I think we have exactly what we want, and then whenever you go through, like when we're not all looking at you, you can go through and see if you wanted to change everything or anything, because
no
says
pressure.
that each one should be between 100 and 200 words. So
yeah, mine were between that before, so they're probably
okay.
now. So we're probably, I'm sure that we're going above and beyond now.
Okay.
But that's fine.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
I think we can go a little over.
Yeah, I'm sure it's fine.
Yeah.
Tegan, do you have any thoughts on this? If you do, you can just type them. It's weird, you can't see if somebody's writing or not on here.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
Yeah.
yeah, and anyways, if you have any thoughts, you can just type them. Okay, the next one, recommended coping strategies. What I wrote, some recommended coping strategies would be to communicate. So many times people want to keep everything in. This is just like how Jeanette and Peter coped with the loss of their first son. However, who would know what they are feeling better than the people in their family? Through communication, feelings and thoughts would be let out in order to cope with the crisis. Another coping strategy is prayer. This will always bring comfort to our hearts in times of mourning. The strategy of keeping busy is another way to cope. As the family began to serve others, serve each other, and think of others, coping with this crisis would have been easier.
Oh, those are good points.
Yeah.
I added doing mood logs. I know we've talked about it in other points, but making sure that they are doing that. And then I don't know if we are also adding stuff that we're learning this week, but I thought mindful meditation would be beneficial.
And just like Julie, I put in the family council.
Oh, yeah.
It really applies to about everything.
I know. That's probably my favorite thing that we've talked about so far is family councils. And I bought the book and I read the first several chapters before chapter 2. And I plan on finishing the book at some point.
Yeah, it's good. It's a great book. My husband wants it. Nope, not till the semester's over.
Oh.
Okay, awesome. I just added doing mood logs would have been another way to cope with the crisis. Mindful meditation would have been extremely beneficial for their family. Family councils would have been helpful too.
Yeah.
I like it.
Awesome.
All right.
We're getting there. 2 more.
I know.
Okay.
So,
Is there anything that you wanted to add to that, Jesse? You're awful quiet.
Sorry, it's just that, I can't really add to the things that, they're already like half of the things that I have, and then other half are better than mine. So I think you guys are doing great, and I'm sorry if I'm being too quiet. It's just, I'm really exhausted, guys. I'm sorry. I have 5 classes to keep up with, and I'm just like, trying to get to the semester.
You're totally fine.
So,
Understandable.
but.
Awesome. Well, we can just move on to the next one, and anyone can make any comments.
Okay.
Recommendation to supporting and involved parties. I think that the supporting and involved parties should first speak to the family and see how they can help. They should not overstep the family's boundaries, and the family most likely would like some time to mourn together. I think that making meals, giving their phone number, mowing their lawn, and doing other things that do not overstep the family's boundaries are great recommendations to the supporting and involved parties. Showing love and support is of most importance. If the family knows that they are supported, they will feel that more comforting, like mentioned earlier. Sure, they will appreciate.
Yeah, it reminded me of the case study that we did with the family with the fire.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And how afterwards, different people came to help, and they were able to serve, and that helped them. Service is always a good way to get out of your own way and grieve and mourn and become happy again.
Yeah, definitely.
And Tegan said bringing food is another thing, which I agree. Yeah, making.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think just one of the main points that I was thinking is just that they don't overstep the boundaries of the family. I don't know. I mean, I haven't had a sibling or a parent pass away, so I don't know that type of a situation. However, I would assume that there are times when you do want help, and there are times you want to mourn with your close relatives.
And that's hard sometimes if you're already having a hard time communicating, like Jeanette and Peter did. They might have a hard time saying to someone who's very sweet and drops off a casserole, we would like to have some family time now, because they already don't communicate well. So it's hard. It's hard to do, but it's important to be together as a family. But when your family's not around, and you're alone, it's very lonely.
Yeah.
So friends, phone calls, letters, calls are all so appreciated.
Yeah. That all those things cover the points that I brought up. So I think it's good.
Awesome. Okay, then the last thing is additional resources you may provide and suggest. So of course, there are other resources that the family can use. There are therapists and family counselors that the family can go to individually and or together. The church is a great resource for the family. Going to church and to the activities will keep the family busy and in good company. There are many online resources that the family could use to learn how to cope with this trial. The scriptures are a huge resource in bringing peace and love into the family's life. These are just a few resources that the family could use in this time of trial. I think that the best resources are Savior Jesus Christ and the atonement.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. See, to me, that's still B. That's still resources and responses. So where would we put our C? It's the cognitions, how they're feeling, how they make out. Kind of.
Maybe the coping strategies.
Yeah, let's do that for C.
Okay.
And then the end result is our X. That's going to be in the wrong order as well, but that's okay. We just need to stick it in here.
X could be
X might be the important relationship considerations.
Or the recommendation to supporting involved parties.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
yeah. Or even like summarizing the case, because the X is the overall experience.
Right. As long as we get it in there. It doesn't matter if it's in different orders.
So we're doing A and X for summarizing?
I don't really think it has to be in order, right?
Well, because the questions aren't necessarily in order for the family system, so it's okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's our summary and the outcome. Then, yeah, I think A and X are combined. What do you guys think?
I think so.
Yeah.
I just wanted to add that because I know he likes it when we use what we've learned.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
So is there anything you want to add to the additional resources?
The only things that I had were having either family therapy or at least therapy for Jeff, him being a twin. But I think you put that in there with family counselors and therapists.
Okay, yeah, I'll add that Jeff specifically could use that.
Mm-hmm. And then, like, did you mention that the family therapy would be to also help them learn how to cope and communicate? Because in my mind, when I read this, I was thinking, well, they had a major trial that put their family all in array, and then they had another trial that fixed it. So they didn't actually learn coping strategies. It was another trial that fixed the problem. So who's to say it's not going to happen again?
Right.
I think that's good. So overall, this is what I said. I added it in the middle, so I'll just read this one more time.
Okay.
Well, I'll skip a couple of lines that I already read. But therapists, family counselors, the family can could go to individually and or together. Jeff specifically could use therapy due to the impact it had on the relationship with him and his brother. Impact.
You might want to put twin brother?
Yeah, with him and his twin brother. Yeah. Family therapy could help them learn how to cope and communicate with each other. And then the rest of it is what I already read.
Okay. Yeah, I like that.
That summarize it?
Yeah, I think it's good.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Is
so
there
I
anything
think we're good.
to add? Yeah, I think.
Because we added, look at all the things we did. We talked about coping and stress. We talked about relationships, communication. We did our ABCX family system. We did cognitive behavioral therapy. We added a lot of stuff from the previous, from chapter 6 back. So I think we did a good job. What do you guys think?
I think it's great.
So. Yeah, I think we're good.
And Sierra types a lot faster than I do.
Well, I'm glad that we got it done. This way nobody has to do anything more for it. So,
well,
okay,
and like I said, mine, see, this, it's a mess. It's all handwritten, so.
No worries. So I'll just turn this in then. I'll write all of our names on it and then turn it in. Does anyone have anything else to add
No, I'm good.
to it?
So,
Awesome.
Yeah.
Is there anything we're supposed
to talk about? Is that what you're saying?
I mean, like, is there anything to do in the group meeting?
I don't think so.
Summarizing our overall thoughts. I think we did that. Did we do
I
that?
think we did that the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we did through every bullet point for sure.
Yep.
Oh, there was one thing that I wanted to add to X, but if it doesn't fit, don't worry about it. Is that they went from an unintegrated family into a highly integrated family. And that was way back from like chapter 1 or 2.
Okay, yeah.
And if it doesn't work, don't worry about it.
You said from
From just one of those.
family
Yeah,
to
from an unintegrated family into a highly integrated family.
okay, I
They
just
were
had,
really fractured. They were really compartmentalized.
okay, yeah, no, I agree. I just added that to the end of the summary, the summary of the case.
Okay.
Cool.
So
Okay.
awesome.
Perfect.
Actually, I
So-
did.
Go ahead.
No, you're good.
Oh, I was going to change the subject. Do y'all know what let me get to it. The assignment that's case study number 2, self-enroll, it's a discussion board. I posted I asked about it on the question and discussion board, but no one answered it. Do you know what we're
Yeah, so you're supposed to, did you see on the, our discussion board when we all were finding the group in the,
Yeah.
yeah. I don't know which one of you guys posted it, but it was like a list of things you're supposed to do. So you go to like, here, let me find it on here.
Yeah,
I just did it.
I posted that.
Yeah.
Post that? Okay. So what you do, did you go to more tools and then you went to
Yeah.
group
Yeah.
and then you added yourself?
Yes.
So you go to groups because there was only 3 of us. Let me see. And then you do view available groups and then you add yourself to group 1 of the case study 2.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. We should all be there.
Yeah, nice. So Jesse and Tegan still need to add themselves to it.
And then we discuss what we've already been discussing.
See,
No,
that was
I'm
my
gonna-
question.
I'll just post our final worksheet there.
Oh, because there's also somewhere else, there's a Dropbox submission
Yeah, you're right.
where you post the group
Oh.
analysis.
But Sierra's going to do that.
Yeah, so that's why I didn't know what the discussion board was for, because we're having a group meeting right now, so that wouldn't be it, where we talk about our answers. And
Well,
okay, so
that's such a good question.
I was hoping I wasn't going crazy. I just didn't see the purpose of it, and there wasn't really instructions. So, okay.
I have no idea. That's what I thought it was too. Well, good. Yeah, I don't know. I bet that our instructor will post something, answer your question, and then you can tell us too. Or we'll all look at it.
Okay.
My dog was chewing on me, so I had to pick him up.
Oh my goodness.
He's like, don't ignore me. I want attention.
Okay, awesome. Well, I think that we're done then. I'll just do this and then add it. And so I'll just be the one that adds it. I think it just said one person do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we could probably just all check with the box saying that we did it.
And then if you find out the answer to your question, let us all know. Because if we're supposed to have some typewritten discussion board about this, like we did our other discussion boards, then, I mean, we need to do it. It just seems a little redundant.
Yeah. I thought that maybe the option, like what could it have been, where in the past they didn't use Google Hangouts, and you just everyone posts their answer on the discussion board, and he just never took it off.
Yeah, I don't know, but if we need to do it, then, we need to do it. None of us want to have a hole in our percentages done for the week.
Yeah.
On our iLearn.
Yeah, so I'll send an email or something out when he responds, or if anyone responds to it.
Awesome. I have no idea what that would be, though. I don't know.
Yeah, I was so confused.
Yeah, it would be exactly what we're doing, only we're typing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Well, awesome.
Yeah, we're good.
Okay.
Jesse, were you saying something?
Oh no, it's just sorry, my train of thought was somewhere else because you guys were talking about the case and then she said something about self-enroll and I thought I had done it, but I think I forgot. So
Yeah, no worries. You can just do that through the what did we just say it was? The more tools and then going to groups.
Yeah, I got it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so are we good? Not that I don't want to continue the conversation.
No, you're fine.
Well, we've just about hit our hour.
Yeah.
Because I think there might be a minimum, that we need to make sure we get to that. So I think we should be good.
No,
we're great. Awesome.
Great.
Well, then we will talk another time. Maybe.
Yes.
Thank
All
you.
right.
This has been good.
Yes. Y'all have a good rest of your week.
You too.
You as well. It's nice to put faces to names.
Yes.
Right.
Awesome. See you guys later.
Okay. Bye.